Thank you all so much for being here on this beautiful night. The sun is shining, so thank you for being in community indoors with us this evening. It is such an exciting evening for the St. Thomas community. I am so pleased to welcome our in-person guests at James B. Wolfe Alumni Hall, as well as those watching the live stream tonight. Welcome to the live stream. My name is Lindsay Sievert, and again, I am your MC for St. Thomas Day 2025. A little background on me: I'm a local journalist and storyteller and documentary filmmaker. I worked at WCCO and KARE 11 before starting my own production company, Sievert Studios, and I had the honor of crafting many of the stories that you'll see here tonight. A few St. Thomas connections for me: I have long volunteered with the 360 journalism program. It is very near and dear to my heart. Yay. I love it so much, and I have worked alongside incredible storytellers that are alumni of that program. And then quick story, I was driving here tonight thinking about my love for the St. Thomas community, and while I didn't go to college here, I went to Indiana University to study newspaper. But I remembered on my drive here tonight that I was accepted to St. Thomas as well before I chose to go out of state and take a different path. And I was also reflecting on how I still feel accepted at St. Thomas. I feel like I have been welcomed into your community with open arms. I consider my heart a little bit purple. And I really have the honor of seeing the inner workings of the university and community, and I love it. So that's why I'm here tonight and why I say yes to opportunities like this, because I really believe in St. Thomas and its mission. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. So we cannot wait for you to learn more about the 6 outstanding individuals we are here to honor this evening. We know the same greatness lies in every person in this room tonight, and we all have the ability to spark meaningful change. Tonight, you will hear from a psychology professor who has dedicated her life to shining a light on sleep, recognizing it as a basic human right. You'll meet a student that has St. Thomas in his blood, taking full advantage of leadership opportunities on campus and driven by the discipline of the Army National Guard. We will introduce you to a Tommy with a family legacy etched deep at St. Thomas. As a student, he stood in line for Lavenburgers and studied business, but later found inspiration in the liberal arts. You'll see a man who was given a chance by Reverend Dennis Deese, who led him to nurture the seeds of an idea that took him back to Uganda, where he leads a foundation. You will be inspired by the humor and positivity of a Tommy who was raised with key values of hard work, education, and using his skills in service to others in a medical career. And last but not least, you will see a face familiar to many on campus, one who has opened doors for others while being guided by his unwavering belief in equity, justice, and inclusion. We will share these stories tonight, but I also encourage you to learn more about all these honorees by visiting our St. Thomas online newsroom. So here to talk about St. Thomas and the changes he sees Tommy's making in communities across the country is our president, Rob Vischer. Please join me in welcoming Rob to the stage.
Thank you. I want to welcome everyone here. I want to thank those who were responsible for putting this marvelous dinner together and the beautiful mass that we celebrated before dinner, those who nominated candidates to be honored, those who served on the selection committee, and obviously those who are permitting us to honor them and to elevate what you emulate for us. This is not simply an awards dinner. This is at the heart of our mission. This is the center of what we do and what we aspire to be. I don't know all of the honorees well. I know some of them, but I know this. They do not have some gaping void that requires them to receive more trophies or accolades or another line on their resume. They don't need the award. We need the reminder of what our mission calls us to do and why our work matters so much. We celebrate members of our community who have sparked meaningful change, but not just change for change's sake, change that touches lives and elevates the dignity of others and strengthens communities. We celebrate those who effectuate change through relationship, We celebrate change that practices what we talk a lot about here called the culture of encounter. And we aspire to this sort of change for all of our students and future graduates, not just because when they lean in and share their gifts with the world around them, it will benefit the world around them, although clearly it does. We also celebrate that because it benefits them, because it's a path that leads to lives of meaning and purpose and joy. Let me just briefly give you a couple examples of what I'm talking about. So I met my wife Maureen and we started dating when I was in law school. And for me, law school was peak self-absorption in my life. I was all about how are my grades, what firm is interviewing me, what firm is rejecting me, how does my resume look, am I getting the right experience, etc. My world was very small. I was looking at what was in front of me and how I was showing that I was enough, that I mattered, that I could achieve, that I could gain people's approval. It was a world where I was kind of stuck in my head. I don't know if any of you have had that experience. And Maureen at the time, she was doing the Jesuit Volunteer Corps, which is Peace Corps for Catholics. And she was working at a homeless shelter. She and her friends were volunteering places, and she just, opened my horizon. So one of our first dates, she said, Rob, make sure you wear comfortable shoes because we're going to be walking a few miles today. I said, why would we be walking a few miles on our date? She said, because we're going to do a walk to raise money for AIDS research. I'm like, that does not sound like a date. But we did it, and this and other experiences, it got me unstuck. It helped me look beyond myself. It helped me become more other-centered. It lifted my gaze, which was good for those around me. It was also good for me. Now, Maureen was really good at encouraging and nudging me along this path. Perhaps the most impactful person in recent history who has been transformative in his impact on millions of people around the world, including me, is Pope Francis, whose memory we honor tonight. Pope Francis was relentless in calling all people of goodwill, not just Catholics, all people of goodwill to effectuate change through their relationships, through building what he called this culture of encounter, to push back against a culture of indifference, to make sure those in our circles and those beyond our circles had the experience of being seen, known, and loved. And it wasn't just kind of a kumbaya, feel good with the people that we like. When he talked about the culture of encounter, he often talked about the parable of the Good Samaritan. Now that story will be familiar to many of you, but in case it's not, let me just briefly recap. The Good Samaritan is a story that Jesus shared in a conversation with an expert in the law. The expert in the law came to him and said, "Teacher, what do I need to do to have eternal life?" And Jesus said, well, you need to love God with all your heart, all your soul, all your mind, and you need to love your neighbor as yourself. The expert in law is thinking fast, and I'm a lawyer, so I know how lawyers think. They're looking for a loophole. They're looking to narrow it. So he said, aha, I got you. Okay. Who is my neighbor? Looking probably for a pretty narrow definition, a narrow pool of people he needs to be concerned about. Jesus tells the story of the Good Samaritan. A man is left for dead at the side of the road. He's robbed, he's beaten, he's stripped, he's left for dead. First two people who walk by are religious leaders. They keep walking. They've got important meetings. They've got ministry commitments. They are very important people. They have to get on their way. They don't stop. The third person is a Samaritan. And Jesus knows that for his audience, a Samaritan would not have been viewed as a friendly group who cared about their well-being. The Samaritan stops. Pope Francis consistently focused on this story. That message for us is that as we effectuate change, make sure that we're cognizant we're doing it in a world where often the message is you improve the lives, you show care and concern, you offer the healing touch to your neighbor. to those who look like you, live like you, believe like you, worship like you, vote like you. That's what we're supposed to do, right? Pope Francis, sharing the story of Jesus, doesn't give us that option. And St. Thomas, as a university founded in the Catholic tradition and still animated by Catholic teaching and our mission, we don't have that option. The category of the other, where we want to define these people who aren't like us so they can lie beyond our concern, that category is non-existent in our tradition. So what does that mean? And what do we aspire to for our students? And how do we understand what we're honoring tonight? It means that we are deeply committed to the truth that when we are other-centered, when we get outside of our own heads, when we realize that our own individual achievements are never going to give us that strong foundation for identity and worth that we always think it will, but that will be found when we're able to share our gifts and our love and our concern and our care with every person we meet, that truth has to be an inescapable part of the St. Thomas experience. And what Pope Francis taught us also in how he lived his life, how he laughed, how he joked around, how he engaged, and how he had his arms wide open to the world, it is also the path to joy. And again, I don't know all of our honorees well, but from what I gather, they are not the type of person with all the wonderful things they've done, they're shuffling around looking sour-faced, just grumbling about how important their work is and how important they are. No. It is the path to joy. So at St. Thomas, what I tell our students every day at the first day of orientation, that our aspiration for them is not simply they'll get a job when they graduate. Yes, we are very good at equipping and empowering our students to get jobs. Our outcomes are awesome. That's not our aspiration. That's selling them short. Our aspiration for every student at St. Thomas is that they will emerge from their time with us with the unshakable knowledge that they are loved, that their life has purpose, that their work has meaning, and that they've been uniquely gifted by God to make irreplaceable contributions to our world. And you ask, well, is that even possible? Well, not only is it possible, we're seeing it tonight. That's what we're honoring. To our honorees, thank you for lifting our gaze. To all of you, thank you for being part of this reminder, and thank you for remembering. Welcome to St. Thomas Day.
Well, thank you so much for your thoughtful remarks, Rob, and thank you for reminding us to be others-focused tonight. So we have a lot to celebrate as we join our community and celebrate our community here this evening. Did you know the first Tommy Award was given in 1931? The Professor of the Year, Humanitarian, and Distinguished Alumni Awards given in the 1960s and 70s, Father Lavin Award in the 90s, and then the Spirit of St. Thomas Award premiering in 2022, honoring leaders in our community as a proud tradition. We have many past honorees here this evening. Can you please stand so we can celebrate you if you are a past honoree of any of these awards? A continued congratulations. As past honorees, you are the legacy of Tommy's making an impact and sparking meaningful change in the world. Now, I would like to invite our 6 honorees to come forward as we learn about how each of you walk in spirit and lead by example. And you can all come and sit in this row of chairs right to the left of President Vischer. Well, let's applaud them as they come on up. All right. The awardees that you're about to meet don't just represent outstanding achievement. They ignite something deeper in all of us. They inspire us with their drive for meaningful change and remind us about the powerful humanity that connects us all. That couldn't have been more perfectly timed, that hug right there. Thank you. Honorees, once you receive your award, please pause for a photo with President Vischer. After all the honorees receive their awards, we will take a group photo on the stage. Well, we're about to start to the first story. A professor of psychology at St. Thomas, J. Roxanne Pritchard demonstrates exceptional dedication to students and a commitment to fostering diverse and inclusive learning environments across campus. She is an in-demand speaker, and her research on sleep and mental health has been lauded through national media outlets, including the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, and National Public Radio. Nominated by, this has to be a record, 35 people across university departments. It's incredible. I saw the list. I should frame it. Dr. Pritchard embodies our mission and, as one of her students stated, a powerful force for good both in and out of the classroom. Let's watch her story.
Just having light at night increases by like 70% elder depression.
Psychology professor Roxanne Pritchard specializes in neuroscience with a mission to shine a light on something almost all her students struggle with.
When you have the light source, you need to indicate whether it's fluorescent.
I study sleep. That's been my love for over 20 years, is understanding how people sleep, when they sleep, and what interrupts it. So what is it that the brain is doing that takes away your sense of self for a third of your life and makes you paralyzed and hallucinating, and then you can come back and be yourself and hopefully a slightly better person with new memories? Sleep does that.
Pritchard's research focuses on the epidemic of poor sleep for college students, but it's just one vehicle of understanding inclusion in every aspect of her students' lives.
Students that have experienced discrimination based on identity, we know historically have had a harder time persisting in the sciences. What can we do to make the culture of support more inclusive?
For her work improving retention rates for underrepresented students in STEM majors, and for her national recognition as a sleep researcher, Pritchard students and colleagues agree her commitment earns a well-deserved rank of Professor of the Year.
I'm still excited to be a sleep evangelist. I'm still excited to think about how sleep should be construed of as a basic human right, and what can we do to make that easier.
Well, let's celebrate sleep evangelist Dr. Pritchard as she comes forward to receive her 2025 Professor of the Year award. I think you can just go join everyone still stay seated over there for a group photo. So I think I'll just direct you back. You just got some extra steps in. It's okay. It's all right. I second guessed myself too, so. Okay, Aidan McGill has dedicated his time on campus to fostering leadership, scholarship, and campus involvement by embodying the values of St. Thomas. Here's another list. I need to take a breath. Aidan has been a leader in undergraduate student government, president of men's club soccer, participated in several campus clubs, served as an AARC building supervisor, Tommy Central Desk attendant, and game day operations manager. And I just have to say, when we interviewed him in Scooters, we accidentally got locked in, and because he has all those jobs, he knew a secret passage of how to get us out of the room. And that just speaks to all of Aidan's involvement and all his knowledge on campus. Saved us. As a scholar, Aidan has balanced a rigorous academic schedule with his commitment to a greater calling. Let's learn more about Aidan.
Most students would agree that college is a time for growth. But for senior Aidan McGill, St. Thomas isn't just where he grew up, it's home.
My mom has been in her 18th season. She's the head coach for the women's soccer team. So pretty much all I've ever known is St. Thomas. It's the only place I wanted to go. It was in my blood. My older brother graduated from here. older sister. I'm here, and now my little brother is here as well.
Aiden dove in, following in his brother's footsteps to lead the men's club soccer team. He took a leadership position in his residence hall, but then was called to do even more.
Felt like a piece of me was missing, and I felt that that discipline, that structure of it as well, was something that I wanted.
Aiden enlisted in the Army National Guard, specializing as a military police officer. He spent 5 months in basic training his sophomore year.
It was really humbling experience. They break you down to build you up.
Still, he's graduating on time with a degree in business operations and supply chain management. Driving Aiden forward after graduation are the people who have always been by his side.
Competitive spirit. It comes from having a lot of siblings who are really successful people. I'm getting married in June, and the biggest thing that I'm looking forward to, and I have in most of my life, is creating a family, like hopefully something that I was raised with.
Congratulations, Aiden. Please come forward to accept your 2025 Tommy Award. Congratulations. Brian McEnany is a dedicated alumnus and passionate supporter of St. Thomas. With over 22 years of experience in the healthcare industry, Brian has helped organizations achieve workforce balance and improve service delivery. Brian served on the College of Arts and Sciences Advisory Board, where he was instrumental in shaping its mission and strategic vision. He's also a staunch advocate for St. Thomas Athletics, holding season tickets for football, men's hockey, and women's hockey. Known for his thoughtfulness, intelligence, and generosity, Brian is a respected leader who continues his family's legacy of support. Let's watch Brian's story.
Well, as I say, it's just such a great location, looking over the beautiful neighborhood and beautiful Summit Avenue.
Brian McEnany's family history is etched generations deep at St. Thomas. A terrace named for his father, Dr. James E. McEnany. His older brothers, even his grandfather, attended here too.
I just always really liked the vibe of the place, and I met Father Lavin when I was a pretty small kid, and I always enjoyed the Father Lavin burgers. Then it was just a long line every Sunday night.
Brian studied business, but found his heart in the liberal arts.
In many ways, I think that was the most impactful, because exposing yourself to things really allows you to open your eyes to the world.
So years later, while Brian attended a St. Thomas Christmas concert, the Liberal Arts Foundation struck a chord within.
The choirs have really just continued to get better and better and better through the years, and that just sparked something in me.
He found himself on the College of Arts and Sciences board, a champion for St. Thomas, receiving the same honor as his dad. He continues his family's legacy of support for St. Thomas's mission. His father won the Monsignor James Lavin Award in 2011.
He'd be out here greeting students or any passerby, believe me, with a big smile on his face. He would, yeah.
Please congratulate Brian McEnany, the 2025 recipient of the Monsignor James Lavin Award. Congratulations. Congratulations again. Next, Charles Morgan Kisitu is a passionate humanitarian and a visionary leader dedicated to making a tangible impact on the lives of those in need. As the visionary founder of the See Them Grow Foundation, he has transformed the organization from humble beginnings into one that uplifts communities through education, women's empowerment, vocational training, and sustainable agriculture. Charles Morgan's unwavering dedication to improving lives makes him a powerful advocate for social change, exemplifying the true meaning of humanitarian work. Let's see his impact firsthand.
Charles Morgan Kisitu always wanted to help kids in Uganda like himself, knowing the deep loss of growing up without a family.
My parents died when I was 10, I dropped out of school because I was unable to go back to school. During that time, I started to give small tours in Uganda.
One day, he gave a tour to a priest, a man named Father Dennis Deese. And Deese would change the course of Morgan's life and instead become his guide.
I told him I was raising money to go back to school. He asked me, are you sure I really want to go back to school? I was like, yes, I really sure I want to go back to school. Like 3 times, and I said, sure, I want to go back to school.
Once in Minnesota, attending St. Thomas on scholarship, Morgan studied entrepreneurship and nurtured the seeds of an idea that took him back home. He operates 1000 Shades of Green Safari, a sustainable safari business. This helps fund his foundation, See Them Grow, started after a rise in teenage pregnancies after COVID.
Because in their community, they think it's a shame or taboo for a person who has gotten pregnant to go back to school. So they wanted to gain a skill. Hence, we created our vocational training center to teenage mothers, youth, persons with disabilities.
His vocational schools teach new paths from soccer, carpentry, hairdressing, and welding, giving kids the same hope Father Deese gave him.
I think it was a divine connection.
Indeed. Please congratulate Charles Morgan Kisitu, our 2025 Humanitarian Award recipient, who came all the way from Uganda for tonight. As president and founder of the Brain-Based Leadership Institute, Dr. John B. Molidor has pioneered advancements in leadership development grounded in neuroscience. He has held emeritus positions as a professor of psychiatry and the regional community dean at Michigan State University College of Human Medicine, where he also served as the chair of the Consortium of Advanced Psychology Training and past dean of admissions. I could list more qualifications, but we'll stop there. John's contributions extend beyond Michigan. He played a pivotal role in the Association of American Medical Colleges' efforts to expand regional campuses to alleviate a physician's shortage. On top of his resume, he's a sought-after speaker, captivating audiences with insights about the brain, with his signature humor. So let's see how he does it.
John Molidor celebrates life in the middle. Born in the middle of the 20th century, in the middle of the Midwest in Des Moines, and smack dab between his siblings in a large Irish-German Catholic family.
The 3 key values that I would say that I was raised with was hard work. The second then was education. And then the third was to take whatever skills or abilities you had and do it in service to others.
That spirit brought him to what was then the College of St. Thomas. John started as a business major, but a disagreement with a professor over whether computers could think got him thinking about a new path.
I walked out of that class and then basically said I'm going to change my major from business to psychology, so I did change it.
A curiosity about psychology and the brain led him to become Dr. John Molidor, neuroscientist, professor, and regional dean at Michigan State University.
Something happens to you. Your brain immediately then is trying to predict what's going on here.
This is the highest award that NSA, the National Speakers Association, gives to one of its members.
Dr. Molidor created the Brain-Based Leadership Institute and became a sought-after speaker, focusing on teaching people how their brains work.
The brain's the only organ that we have that can actually change over time, so you can teach the proverbial old dog new tricks.
Which is why the resilient mindset he preaches is also put into practice in this moment.
Yes.
Battling a severe form of cancer. To Dr. Molidor, it would be a gift if you could join him right in the middle of his fight.
You know, send prayers. Send healing thoughts, healing feelings, send humor. I think there's still more that I can do and want to do.
A heartfelt congratulations to congratulate you, Dr. John B. Molidor, as our 2025 Distinguished Alumnus. Sending all the love and prayer your way. Many here tonight know Teron Buford as a welcoming, familiar face who's had a hand in shaping St. Thomas, just as St. Thomas helped shape him. Teron works at Blue Cross Blue Shield of Minnesota, where he's the Director of Strategic Community Health Initiatives. Through his leadership, Teron champions initiatives that create inclusive environments. At St. Thomas, Teron stood out as one of the most empathetic and inspiring individuals among his peers. After graduating, he put these valuable qualities into action while opening doors for many in his decade-long role in the undergraduate student admissions department here. He also collaborated with Doherty Family College, leading efforts to recruit and support access for all. Teron has a long-standing commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion, whether at work, home, or in his community. Let's learn more about Teron.
My experience at St. Thomas was really different.
Before Teron Buford ever stepped foot on campus, others paved the way. And once he arrived, his purpose became clear. He'd be the person he once needed.
I spent about 10 years working in undergraduate student admissions, helping students figure out how to get from point A to point B and kind of what comes next. I'm born and raised originally in Chicago, Illinois, inner city west side. My family dealt with everything from gang and drug and police violence to struggling with food insecurity and all those sorts of things.
Minnesota became a refuge for his family. Teron moved to People Serving People shelter with his mother and siblings for the remainder of high school. The resilience Teron displayed despite experiencing homelessness caught the attention of St. Thomas Admissions, where he would someday work.
I think one of the things that St. Thomas has pulled out of me is this unwavering belief in equity. I'm a product of equity work, right? If someone gave to me the exact same thing that everybody else got when I had more deficits, I don't know where I am today.
Teron earned both undergrad and master's degrees in social work, and a bonus, he met his wife on the first day freshman year. Today, whether at home with their 2 kids, on the court as an NCAA basketball official, or in the community as a mentor, to Teron, it's all connected. A campus sparking his calling as a champion of justice and inclusion.
The never-ending belief that equity work at the end of the day is noble work, it's good work, it's work that ought to be done.
Welcome, Teron, to the stage. Your cheering section is awesome. Congratulations on the 2025 Spirit of St. Thomas Award tonight. Woohoo! You also win the loudest cheering section. I love it. Teron, you can stay on stage. Teron, you can stay up here because we're going to do a group photo. Yes. So everyone can come to the stage for a group photo. It has been such an honor meeting you all, and I will carry a piece of your stories with me, and I know everyone here will do the same tonight. So as we're taking the group photo, I just want to say congratulations again to this evening's honorees. Whether it's the work that is our legacy, the impact we are already making, or the potential to yet be unlocked, we hope that you will leave tonight with a little more inspiration as you step out into the world and make your own mark. As morally responsible leaders who think critically, act wisely, and work skillfully to advance the common good, you, all of you, are the fabric and strength of our Tommy community. You inspire us today and always. Thank you so much for celebrating with us tonight. Have a great evening. Thank you so much for the love in the room tonight.